Hi, my name is Cole Mugridge. I'm currently a student studying psychology at Cape Breton University. The purpose of these videos is to offer insight and tools from my own personal knowledge and life experience. While some of the content in these videos are based on my learnings academically, this media is not a substitute to recognized learning. Please take what resonates here today and leave what doesn't. What do you think of that for an intro? Got to give some kind of disclaimer because I'm not a teacher or certified to be one. May as well just be a preacher, I guess. So, today's episode, we're on week 2 already. It's for people who want to do better. So, doing better, it's kind of the big phase. It's the big fad, especially amongst young men or my peers, in my experience of today's age. There's a lot of self-help content out there. It's readily available to consume, and there's a lot of it. Pretty easy to get drowned in it. So I kind of wanted to give my take on this, and from my experience of, geez, I must be 5 years down this road now. What what I boiled down to, you should do. So the first thing, it's just discover yourself. So self discovery goes a long way. What I mean by discover yourself is I found until I learned who I was and understood the mechanisms that were on the inside as to why I was doing what I was doing. So learning about my likes, dislikes, etc. I wasn't really getting anywhere because I was like a car without an engine. There was nothing on the inside fueling me to continue to move forward. I knew I wanted to do better, but I didn't know why. So, discovering yourself through means such as meditation, asking friends, self questionnaires, journaling, etc., whatever you need to do to feel like you can have a conversation with yourself authentically. And this ties into the next thing, which is admitting your wrongs and developing humility. So, if there's one skill I could recommend anybody in the world develop, even if you're on this self love, self help journey, or you just want to be a decent person, it's the idea of humility and recognizing that you are not a saint and you are capable of doing wrong. So, Carl Jung, psychotherapist or psychologist, don't remember the exact term, a few centuries ago, developed this concept known as the shadow, which is like the dark part of the psyche where all of your bad manifestos, your bad thoughts, your bad impulses, it's kind of where all these concepts spring from. I adapted that to my personal life and believed it. So, finding some time, look into it. It's called shadow work. I will do an episode on it in the future, but not here. It's not what it's about. Find ways to get into the inside. Once you get to know yourself, find out why you're mad, find out why you're upset, because like we talked about in our last episode, things that are heavy that are going to drag you down, this is going to help you find that release so you can remove those weights. And it goes into our next thing, which is exploring your shadow. So the shadow part of your psyche is, from my experience, the neglected, the angry, the tormented. So I'm recently finding out. Here's a little bit of self-disclosure here. I have some real issues with when I was growing up, particularly in romance. I was declined and rejected and humiliated a lot by the girls I went to pursue. Anyway, I'm not like feeling bad for myself. This was 10 years ago, but it finds ways to manifest in today's day. So I have a lot of like timidness and anxiety, particularly when I'm talking to attractive women, because my fear of being rejected is so high that I can't. I literally physically can't perform. I could sit here, I could preach in front of a video. You can ask my friends. I'm a great conversationalist. But when it comes to particularly women that I find attractive, there's a barrier there. I'm working on it now. I recognized it. If I didn't recognize it, if I didn't do the work to get inside myself to see it, I'd probably go the rest of my life just wondering why. And soon I would develop a belief that I just can't do it, but it's not true. There's things on the inside that I need to deconstruct. I need to feel out. I need to release them and let them go. So, moving forward from that, the next thing is to find your pride and to find your passion. So, think of your soul as an engine, your body as the vessel, this kind of concept. What's going to feed the engine? This is where your passion and your pride come in. For me, I've always loved the idea of helping people. Ever since I was a kid, hero complex, whatever you want to go through, been through it all. We're getting out the other end now, but I love the idea of helping others. I know that's why I'm studying psychology. I'm planning to go from my physical trainer to what's it called? Personal trainer certificate next year. I really like the idea of aiding others. Even in conversations in my close, intimate relationships, I find I'm much more of a support person than anything. So that's my personal passion. That's my pride. That's that renewable energy source that dwells within that I can continuously use. So, and that obviously ties back into the discovering yourself element, where once you know more about yourself, you'll be able to move forward more and find that peace that you'll always be able to hold on to and you can always lean on. It's infinite, it's renewable. And ultimately, the last thing is finding your purpose in meaning, defeating nihilism. Now, to break it down, in today's world, nihilism, pretty widespread, pretty common. People don't believe in God. No judge on that. People don't believe in spirituality. Once again, no judge on that. I get it. The world is gray, gloomy. We're all glued to our phones. We're all addicted to something. Everybody has their vice, whether it's smoking, drinking, pornography, self harm, whatever it may be. We have a way to continuously leave us down. So here's a little bit of like neurobio here for you. I don't know the exact name of the neurons, but there's a complex inside the mind. For all the pleasure you experience, there needs to be equal pain. So think about the line, and you're here, you're riding up. I'm drinking, I'm smoking, I'm having risky sex, I'm doing whatever I can do to basically avoid the low. The higher the high, the lower the low. And when that happens, you're going to be all out of balance. Your equilibrium is going to be disrupted. So you're going to go into like sort of hypomanic depressive state where you're going to reach high highs. Like, I'm going out, I'm getting drunk, I'm going to the club, I can talk to this girl. And you go back down, and it's like the next week, you don't even know if you want to be here anymore. That's your brain balancing it out. Like we talked about in the last episode, your brain's neutral. It doesn't care. As long as it's alive, that's its only program. I don't even know if it cares about that, honestly, with some of the thoughts it puts through. So find your purpose and meaning so that you can tap into a more fulfilling and sustainable way of life. I'm going to do an episode on this in the future, but this is just a probe thought so that maybe you can walk down that path alone and get started. And defeating nihilism is very important. Like we also talked about in the last episode, that depressive loop, what you consume and what you do every day becomes your life, because there's that predictive neural network. Like when you're going to sleep every night, your brain anticipates the next day. So let's say you have work tomorrow, or you have school, and you're going to go to the gym, and then you have some kind of event with your friends in the evening. Your brain is actually going to pre-program or anticipate all of those things the next day for you while you rest. So if your day is depressive day to day, I do nothing, I just fucking rot. Oh, profanity, mind my language. Your brain is going to anticipate that. Remember, it's neutral. It's not your enemy, but it's also not your friend. You can make it your friend. You can probably befriend it, but set something up tomorrow to look forward to, even if it's super small, and really try to hold on to it and dig into it and allow it to grow and flourish. And don't be mad at yourself if it doesn't work right away. Things take time. They say it takes about a month to make a hobby. It does, or however much you need it. Like we talked about last time, if you could find a way to put that emotional vulnerability, or find some way to tie your feelings into this new action that you're going to do, it's going to be a lot easier for you to hold on to it and want to do it more, especially if it provides you a sense of relief or escapism. Because in like today's world, everything's daunting, it's hard, it's heavy, it sucks, especially for us young people. The social anxiety is just up the wazoo. I challenge you to try to break down those barriers and find your purpose and meaning so that you can walk through authentically. Because I'm finding the more that I'm getting to know myself and the more that I'm accepting myself, you don't really care what other people think. And this isn't from a place of condescension, but as you get to know there's this thing where I assume that all the knowledge I have and everything I know, everybody else knows it because it's readily available. So where I saw it and I read books and I meditated and I contemplated and I did all these things, whatever, gas myself up, sure. I assume everybody else does this. But you're here watching this today. Not everybody's like you and I. People aren't asking the questions. People aren't trying to do better. They could be trying to do better, but they're not ready to put in the work to do better. You being here today, consuming this type of content, consuming this type of media, means that you at least want to try. And that's the only thing you can do. So, to summarize today, find yourself, admit your wrongs, and develop humility. Because as soon as you get into yourself, you want to think like, oh my God, I'm so strong, I'm so awesome, I'm all this. Chances are, if you're here, you think you're a piece of shit. Let's be real. You need to find out why you think that. You got to find out whose voice is in your head, what experiences shaped you to have this really cruel, sad belief about yourself. And it's up to you to diffuse every single one. Therapy can help, counseling can help. I was in therapy for 10 years. Well, I say was, I am. I've been going since I was 13 years old. It helps. But ultimately, their purpose is just to teach you the skills to learn how to do this on your own behalf. The journey is alone. It's isolating. It's very personal. But once you get exposed to it, just like I guess you could say in a video game, you level up. you get better, you get stronger every time. Like you'll develop a sense of defense. So like I have a certain set of memories that I ruminate on frequently that when they overcome me, I have learned how to say no. I'm not going down that path because I know it holds nothing but darkness for me. I made it to the end of the temple. I made it to the end of the path. I learned that there's nothing there. Some things are just painful and some things just hurt. You won't be able to release it. You won't be able to let it go, but you need to accept it. I remember my late grandfather figure, Bob. He always gave me this analogy of a black dog. You need to get used to this idea of the black dog being in the room, which is, no matter where you are, this black dog is there. And this black dog is like your trauma, your pain, everything manifested. As, as soon as you learn how to get comfortable relaxing with this part of yourself and just accepting it for what it is, it's not there to hurt you. It is hurt people, but it doesn't want to hurt you. It's just really repressed, deep feelings that really need to be felt. I'm finding when I'm diving in or I get close to my black dog, I yearn for a lot of comfort, and that's completely okay too, even as a man. To be vulnerable and to ask your friends or ask your significant other, or if you have a good relationship with them, your parental figures, can I have a hug? I just need some kind of comfort because through feeling of these super vulnerable, intense feelings, you're going to need help. I know that I said it's isolating and it's alone, and I may be contradictory here, but choose your battles and take it one day at a time. It's not going to take a week. It's not going to take a month. It might take you years. Like if you're 10 years of being traumatized over and over, it's going to take maybe half that time to try to do better, but the time will pass anyway. Don't feel discouraged. It becomes a part of your lifestyle and your daily routine to want to do better. You'll yearn for it. You'll want to keep consuming as much as you can to try to do better. So developing humility, if you could take anything from this video, that's the place to start. Accountability, humility, those two skills alone, people will love you. It'll go far in your professional life and it'll go far in your romantic life. Be able to say, I was wrong, and actually admit that you were wrong and try to learn from it. So many things open from that. Explore your shadow, look it up, Carl Jung, The Shadow. Watch videos on it. I'm going to do my own episode on it once I know more about it. Find your pride and passion. There's a book by Robert Greene. It's called Mastery. Read it. Or watch some of his videos, watch some of his lectures. Robert Greene, Mastery. Find purpose in meaning, defeat nihilism. This one's truly intrinsic. It's all you. You got it. Like if you read that book or you watch those podcasts or you discover that shadow, it'll come to you kind of like in this really slow but gradual but really nice magical way. As you develop a sense of intuition and a sense of self, it'll feel like you're being drawn on the right path. So as the disclaimer states, just take what resonates, leave what doesn't, and thanks for watching. Even if you're just my friends or if you're a new viewer, I really appreciate feedback in the comments. My last episode, everybody who gave feedback, really appreciate that. And if there's ever concepts or topics you want me to talk about, please feel free to ask. With that, take care of yourself. Have a good day.